You have been asking for a guide on how to look at the market and how to open a trade and other things. But on this video, I'm going to show you the basics that you need to know the market. So basically, um, there are things that we must consider before you even think of opening a trade, like the direction of the market. If that direction has changed, you need to find out first before you open a trade. So I am to do that, to check the market structure, which is to know the direction of the market. You have to use a bigger time frame. When I say bigger time frame, this means weekly. It means, for those that don't understand, a single candle here represents 1 week. It takes 7 days to form another candle. 15 minutes as well means a single candlestick represents 15 minutes. After every 15 minutes, a new one will form. But now I'm open on a weekly. So each candlestick represents 7 days. So a new one is formed. So you can see now that the market, this is BTC. So I will show you, I will draw a small diagram to show you how to understand the market structure. So basically, to understand the market structure, you want to identify the highs and the lows. So especially in the high, when you, if the market is going up, you want to identify if the market structure is going up. Identify the highs like this, high, 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 high. So you will notice that every high is higher than the next. You understand? Every high is higher than the previous high. This high is higher than this is higher than this is higher than this. So as it's going up, it keeps going up. This is what you call higher high. Because this high is higher than this, so it's called higher high. This is also called higher high. This is also called higher high. This is also called higher high, and this is another higher high. So it's higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. That is H. And this is the lows. I told you identify the highs and the lows. This is the lows. The lows, this low is higher than this low. So you can say higher low. Because this low is higher than this low, you can say higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, which is HL, and the one up is higher high, which is HH. So this diagram here represents an uptrend market structure. An uptrend market structure. A downtrend market structure makes what? If an uptrend market structure makes higher high, a downtrend market structure makes a lower high, because each high will be lower than the previous, like this. So this high is lower than the previous high, like this high now. Um, so this high lower than this high. This high is lower than this high. This high is lower than this high. It's going downward. So that's why I call it lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And this low is lower than this, so you call it lower low. As well, this lower low, lower low, lower low, because it's descending down. Lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. This one is higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. So it's ascending upward. So this diagram here, this one identifies and show you a downtrend. And there are things you need to pay attention to, like know when the market changing, to know when to buy and when to sell. So I am going to simply show you the market is making a higher high in this level, because every high and every low, there is what they call for, let me give you for a simple term, you can say a resistance and a support. When the market price breaks a high, the high becomes a support. But when the market is below a high or low, it's called a resistance. But when it's above a high or low, it's called a support. Like this low is now a support, and this low is now a support. You can just think of it as a support, something that supports. So if it's coming down to this support, so if you look at this support, you will see that the market bounce off this support. The market to bounce off this support. The market bounce off this support. The market bounce off this support. So that is how a higher high is keeps making when the market comes down and bounce off this support and goes up this support again and goes up and keep making a higher high. So you can say the market is going to bounce off this support. When the market bounces off this support, this high is a resistance. But since we identify the market structure as bullish upward, so we believe that the market will keep making a higher high. So when it makes a higher high and break this resistance, this resistance becomes a support, and then the market bounces off this support again and keeps making a higher high. But when the market is supposed to make a higher high, but instead couldn't make a higher high and make a lower high and breaks the previous higher low and makes a lower low, we can say that the market has changed a structure. But first, this is called a change of character because the market couldn't make a new higher high, it made a lower low, so we can say a change of character. But then when market proceeds to start making a lower high and lower lows, we can say it's now a change of character, that the market is going down. And when you see this on a higher time frame, you can go on a lower time frame and look for entry. If it's making a lower low and lower highs, we can look for a short entry in the lower time frame. So let's proceed. Let me show you the Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin and where we think Bitcoin is going to and where it has been going to for the past year. So for the past year, Bitcoin has been bullish, and if we go zoom out, we are going to see Bitcoin has been very bullish, but you can see that it's getting weaker. Okay, so let me show you this. There is no magic to this trading. So if you look at this market, you will see that Bitcoin has made a higher high, and another higher high, which identifies this is a bullish market. And you notice another higher high, a higher high. So if you notice, even right from years, Bitcoin has been making a higher high, high. So Bitcoin has been very bullish. But there are some times where there was a change of character where Bitcoin broke down, but then bounces off and keep going up. So it retrace, retest, retest. So there's what I call a trend line. You can place a trend line on top of these lines, on top of the lines. You can place a trend line like this, and then place another trend line on the bottom like this. Like this, like this, like this. It should be at least three. Get. So if you notice that Bitcoin has been making a higher high, and then it broke out of this trend line, so it hasn't This is, we can also say this is a higher high. This here, the two highs, these highs. But then Bitcoin broke them and then it comes down. It broke out of the trend line because you can easily use the trend line to identify a higher high and higher lows, or lower lows and lower highs, by putting a trend line in between them, and you can easily identify that yes, the market is going up. This is just for identification. But then if you want to identify a change of character or structure, when the market price breaks one of the trend line, you can use it as a sign, a signal that yes, maybe there might be a change. But then you have to wait for price to come and retest off this trend line before it rejects. Now I'm going to go on 15-minute time frame and show you what an order block is. So what is an order block? So an order block is the change in market direction, market price. So when there, for instance, when there is a bullish candlestick like this, let me show you an example of an order block. Okay, like this. When there is a bullish candlestick like this, or before the bullish candlestick there was a red candlestick before the price changed direction. This red candlestick is an order block, so you can put it inside a block like this, a block like this. The idea is, if market comes in here, there is an order here, market is going to reject back up. And if you look at it here, you will see that as market came into this order block, it started ranging and eventually it came back and retest and went up, came back and retest the order block again and went back up. Here there's an order block, order block, but this is an invalid order block and is a valid order block because price does not respect all order blocks. If you notice here, price respect this order block here and then rejects and went up. So this is another topic for under the order block because it's a whole new topic on its own. So for now, I hope you understand the how to identify a market structure, the overall direction of the market. When you look at the market, you will know if the market is going up or down. And then I hope you'll be able to identify a change in character or change in structure